questions from Ravi Shankar in Karnataka.
Karnataka is full of Ravi Shankars. You know, when I was in school, in my class, there were about 7 Ravi, Shankar, Ravindra, Ravi, whatever. My brother is also Ravindra. So if I went home, there was a Ravi, if I went to school, there were too many Ravis. Now one more Ravi. Tell me.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Can the dimension of mysticism be explored, not just experienced, by a culture or a mass of people, or is it available only to a few with mastery?
Is this question understood? Hello?
Can the dimension of mysticism be explored, not just experienced, by a culture or a mass of people, or is it available only to a few with mastery?
So what you need to understand is the difference between exposure and experience. Are you exposing yourself to the virus? Or are you experiencing it right now? Two different things. See, we can't talk about anything without bringing in the virus these days. Exposure means you get to see it, you get to smell it, you don't get to eat it. It's like a cake in a glass case. Some of the… only in United States they do it, in India they won't do this because if somebody smells food, after that nobody will eat that food. Here, if you say, is this good, the salesperson eager to sell will bring it out and say, just see, it's really nice. You should never ask, have you eaten it? Because he or she has not eaten it, but by smell, you're supposed to make out. So exposure is one thing, experience is another thing. Mastery is another dimension altogether. Let's start from the top, because I see this question as an elimination process. If you want to have mastery over mystical dimensions, there is no such thing. You have mastery over your perception. Because of that, mystical dimensions have become possible. So the mastery is not over mystical dimensions, you have mastery over your perception. See, you cannot master the sunlight, for example, even physical things. But you can make your system in such a way that it benefits from the sunlight, it doesn't get harmed by the sunlight. There are many things to do for that. So mastery is always about this one. Because you have mastery over this, you may get to do certain things. We were just talking about a football player. The mastery is over his own skills. The mastery is not over the ball. The ball doesn't listen to anybody, you must know this. That is the beauty of a ball. It doesn't listen to anybody's nonsense. If you're good, it is good. If you're not good, it's not good. It's as simple as that. Life is like a ball. If you're good at it, it'll work well for you, it'll go where you want. If you're not good at it, it will go all over the place. So you cannot have mastery over life or death but you can have mastery over this. Because of that, you transcend these processes. So you access dimensions which are considered mystical. How do you define what is mystical? Mysticism means just this. To put it very simply, technically, this is not the entire reality, but technically, whatever you cannot understand logically is mystical for you. Hello? It is not entirely true, what I am saying, but it is logically correct. What you cannot figure within your logical framework of mind looks mystical to you or magical to you. If I go to the tree and pluck a fruit, you will say, oh, I can also do that. But if I pluck a fruit from here, then that is mystical for you. Hello? We will eliminate the word miracles because there are many problems with that. But mysticism is not something that you do. You don't pluck a fruit, you don't produce a gold pendant, you don't produce this or that. A phenomena which is already there, you experience. If possible, if there is a conducive atmosphere, you make others also experience. So mysticism is not about performing miracles. Mysticism is a profound experience, a profound exploration of the phenomena of life, and that phenomena which is not perceivable by five sense organs. That means you cannot see, you cannot hear, you cannot taste, you cannot smell, you cannot touch. Because of this, it's become mystical. If you could see it or hear it or smell it or touch it or taste it, you would know what is its nature. But because the five sense organs are not able to touch it, because the phenomena is beyond physical nature, because of that it's become mystical. So experiencing it will take a certain level of committed atmosphere, certain level of preparation, and certain trust, because you will have to… Suppose I want to walk you across a tightrope, then you need a certain amount of trust. If I stand beneath and say, don't worry, in case you fall, though you are 100 kilograms, I will hold you. You must trust. Oh, how can Sadhguru hold me? Then you will have to fall, bounce back and go back onto the rope. I'm saying it becomes cumbersome and nearly impossible because you cannot make somebody walk into a space that they do not know. Either they must have absolute trust or they should have a mad sense of courage, insanity they need, otherwise they cannot. But exposure is a different matter. We can expose people to mystical dimensions. We can introduce them in the way they understand. We can set up situations where there is a possibility of a little bit of fuzzy logic, but by doing enough… you know what's trigonometry? It's like trigonometry, it's not… it is no more, even algebra. That is, 1 plus 1 is not necessarily 2, it could become something else, it's not simple arithmetic anymore. So by using such methods, we can expose people to certain dimensions or certain possibilities. Even if they don't experience, they see the possibility that it can be experienced. Once they see the possibility, generally the longing to experience will become very strong. Well, some people of course may feel it's too much for them, but for most people, the longing to experience will become strong. Once the longing to experience has become strong, the possibility of crafting your system in such a way that you can experience will become very much a possibility. So as a part of this, we've been… we did one program many years ago, I don't remember which year it was, must be 2004 or 5. We did one program in this direction. We did another one called Anadi, which was more spiritually oriented, but a little bit of exposure to mysticism was there. Now in the month of March this year, the 2021, we are planning to do a 8-day event in India because this is more cultural exposure, not necessarily mysticism per se. It is a cultural exploration of mysticism. We will be doing a program called… I was not supposed to tell you. They were supposed to make this program by invite only. But now this question has come, so we will be doing a program called Shiva, the ultimate mystic, an exploration and little exposure to that dimension. It is a culturally rich program, it's a one-time program, we cannot repeat those programs because it's an elaborate cultural arrangement with lots of music, art, theatre, everything mixed up. And it costs a lot to prepare the yoga center for this because last time, the last special event that we did like this was Mahabharat. When we did Mahabharat, everybody in the ashram were dressed like that period. The food was from that period, all the decor from that time, that is 6,000 years ago. Hello? So even I lose my battery sometimes. So from food to decor to clothing, everything was from that time and the entire ashram was prepared for this. I think those videos are partially out because we must have shot nearly 100 hours of video, but a little bit of it is out, I believe. Before that, we had a program called Leela. This was about how Krishna taught yoga. So because Krishna is supposed to be blue-bodied and everything about him is blue, 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 Shiva also blue, all right? So, there was one blue day where we told everybody, please put on at least a spot of blue in your clothing. So most people came dressed up blue, the lighting was blue, all decor was blue, all flowers were blue, all the arrangements were blue. And when I opened my mouth to speak, my tongue was blue. When they sat for lunch, the rice was blue color, everything blue. Then they were overwhelmed by this and they came out and there was blue smoke coming out of the mountain. So I said, I'm just trying to tell you that this is the extent of elaborateness that we go to when we do these special programs. Only three we have done till now, Vaibhav Shiva, Leela and Mahabharat. This is the fourth one. This is called as Shiva, the ultimate mystic. This is not that you are going to become a mystic, but some exposure to know that something exists like this, something beyond the framework of our logical minds, something beyond the sense of physicality that we have about this world. Beyond this, how creation is, an exposure to this. Well, considering the virus situations, only 250 people will be taken into this program. I'm very sorry about that, but that is a requirement, otherwise we cannot conduct the program itself. So it'll be very culturally rich with music, dance, theatre, a variety of things happening, all with social distancing. So, we want this program to be absolutely safe so that the numbers… because of that, the numbers are limited and, well, it's a kind of an adventure because taking people through not mysticism per se, but even to expose them to something which doesn't fit into the framework of their psychological stuff or even physiological stuff. Because physical framework and mental framework are the only two things which is not allowing you to experience what's beyond this. The more seriously you take your physicality and your psychological structures, the more you become incapable of experiencing anything beyond. If you learn to relax this a little bit, that you don't take this seriously. Just yesterday somebody was asking me, Sadhguru, how do I not take my thoughts seriously? I said, just see that all your thoughts that you've generated till now have been absolutely stupid. Yes, because from the limited data that you've gathered, you're going on making up things about everything. The situation is like this. Suppose there is a 1,000,000-piece jigsaw here. You found 3 pieces, you put them together and say, wow, it is a bear. Well, if you are a 2-year-old child, we'll say, all right, it's a bear. Play with it. But if you're an adult and if you do this, we say you're dumb, stupid. Yes or no? That's all that's happening with the logical mind. You pick a few pieces, those pieces may be sufficient for your survival, not for exploring existence, not for exploring creation, not at all. Simply not possible, because with 3 pieces of jigsaw when it has millions of pieces is a ridiculous way to understand or to experience anything. These pieces that you have gathered are good for you to earn a living, manage your stuff around you, it's fine. But if you just gather these trinkets and you think they're everything, you'll only end up with that, a warehouse of things. Yes, most people don't have a home, they have a warehouse. Hello? Many of you living in a warehouse, isn't it? Because there is enough things there for 50 people, though there are only 3 people in the house. This happened. There was a Zen master whose name was Ryokan. He was living in a small little hut with bare minimum stuff. One day a thief entered his little hut. He was sleeping and the thief was slowly trying to find something, but it's an empty place. He looked this corner, it's dark, in this corner, that corner, he's looking, feeling his way out to pick up something, nothing. Then this Zen master woke up, sat up and said, "I'm so sorry, there is nothing here for you to take. The only thing that I have is this old pair of clothes that I'm wearing. You take this. It's cold outside, you take this extra clothing." And he took off his clothing and gave it to him and sat there naked. The thief did not understand what this is, but first thing you've been caught. The next thing is you're being given a gift, and the gift is some clothes that he was wearing. Just not able to figure out, this is a mystical situation, you know. Because in the mindset of a thief, he cannot understand how can somebody give away the last possession of his life. Confused and feeling, kind of zonked out by mysticism, he went away. Then Rayukan sat there and lamented. He looked out of the hut, there was a wonderful full moon, today is a full moon, it's a very rare full moon, you know this? Looked out at the moon and said, "I wish I could have given this moon to him, but I don't have it, so I gave my clothes." So what I'm saying is, only survival process fits into the framework of your psychology and physiology. Survival. Survival and survival alone, nothing more. So if you want some exposure to a dimension beyond this, well, this is an attempt to create a very strong, a beautiful cultural event to expose you to mysticism, not to experience mysticism, maybe some taste. Sometimes even by smell you experience something, isn't it? Hello? If you smell it, mouth waters, some experience is happening. Yes or no? If you… now I can't make out who is you. If you happen to be Indian, behind the mosque, then if you just think of raw mango, chili and salt, right here in the December month, it will water, mouth will water. Already mouth watering. Please, when you want to spit it out, remove the mask and do it, okay? Because it can happen. It's become so much a part of you. This happened to farmer Jack in Tennessee. The old farmer, over 80 years of age, but still very strong and healthy man, always been hardworking. So his grandchildren decided they must take him to a doctor for a medical checkup, and he had never been for a medical checkup, he didn't know what it is. So they took him for a medical checkup, the doctor examined him, all different aspects of examination, everything he did, and said, "You are strong as an ox. Really, there's no problem with you. Only thing is, it will be, winter is coming and I see you're not wearing your underwear, you're just pulling up your pants. It will be more healthy to wear underwear, and it will be much warmer also for you in this stage of your life, and it is also clean to do that. There is cleanliness, there is warmth, and health will come out of this." So the grandchildren bought him underwears that he had never worn all his life. So he wore the underwear, and then he was ploughing the field, he was on the tractor, and then he felt like relieving himself. Went down and sat for a shit. Then after he was done, he looked back and said, wow, it's really clean. And then he came and sat on the tractor seat. Then he said, yes, it is warm. Health will come for sure. Are you too cold or can we handle one more question? Huh? You feeling warm?